Alright, hello stream. Gonna be playing some poker. Let's do it. So we're gonna play some more 2 cent, 5 cent, no limit. Just one table until we get up to 10 buy-ins won on our bankroll challenge. We ended the last stream down to like 120 or like basically down to like 4 buy-ins. And off stream last night and over lunch today, I got back up to 6 buy-ins. So won 2 buy-ins in 2 pretty reasonably quick sessions. One session was ridiculous. I sat down to lunch today and I got a full house and a straight in 4 hands. So first 2 hands after sitting down were dead. Second 2 hands I doubled up over the course of 2 hands with a full house and then with a straight. And so after that I was like, I should probably just quit right now. And it meant I only got to play 4 hands of poker, but I left positive and was able to go into the stream up. So that's cool. I actually suspect that I suspect that we're actually got a lot of really stiff competition at this time of day at 3:30 in the afternoon. We're not getting we're not getting a lot of wrecks or drinkers. I think we're getting a lot of just like straight up good players. So it's, I think what I'm finding is when I start playing at different times on my own, it's a lot different game than when I'm streaming. And it seems like I am losing a bit when I'm streaming and then winning it all back off stream. It's weird. I don't think it's necessarily that I'm playing much differently. I think it's just different people. That's all I can really... only way I can explain it. It also worries me that I'm not winning a lot of small pots. I'm just winning a few big pots. So I need to work on that as well. Trying to claw my way through and make, small gains over time rather than relying on big gains on just a few, on a few big hands. So we'll try that today. Try to focus on trying to, work on value betting, bluffing, betting for protection. Basically trying to kind of categorize my bets, trying to figure out when I should be betting each specific thing. That's mainly going to be after the flop. So it's going to be tough trying to get to the flop with some of our tight ranges, but we'll still try it. And hopefully just explain it to you guys as we go, and hopefully you can learn something from the stream, or just have a nice chill stream to watch as compared to some of the other streams that are, I don't know, some of the other poker streams. I try to watch other poker streams, try to pick out things that I like and don't like, try to be constantly improving this stream. And certainly a lot of guys just play poker and don't talk to the stream at all, which seems weird to me. I think that the best streams are the interactive streams, honestly. To the point where I think that it would be cool to, like, once I get more popular, I'd like to have some, like, interactive parts where, like, allow the chat to dictate some of the actions that we take on hands. I think would actually be a lot of fun. It would be ridiculous, and I'm sure they're, maybe we just do it once a week or something, but I think it would be a ton of fun. All right, so we get an interesting play here, an all-in on a 4-7-10. I don't see any possible straights on the board. At best, there's a flush draw on the board. So I'm guessing, the best hand this guy can have is 2 10s. So I guess the dealer's just gonna fold. Seems like a kind of wonky all-in. Maybe this guy is just got impatient or something? I don't know. That was interesting. Unfortunately, we don't really get any good cards to play, so we'll just wait for that. Alright, let's see, next hand. So we are under the gun. We get 10-8 offsuit, so unfortunately, again, not good enough. So we'll just try playing some commentary here and watch to see what our other players do. So far, we have about 10 hands on each of these guys. The bottom two, seat 1 and seat 2, have been pretty active. I see 30 and 40% hands played. This guy has 0% hands played, so... but he re-raises. And so he takes the pot. Okay. Alright, so in the big blind we get ace-5 suited, which is pretty good here. We will probably play that. Looks like it's a call. Unless the button opens, in which case it's actually a bet, a 3-bet. But yeah. Let's see what he does. Also a 3-bet if small blind opens against us. Alright, so here we go. So 3 times his is going to be 7.5. And my hotkeys didn't really work there, so that was weird. Not sure what happened there. Now we're in kind of a weird position. We do have a straight draw, so let's try just betting. We're going to do another small bet to kind of keep the pace as our other one. And we'll see. Okay, he lets us take it. Nice. I mean, I guess we should be talked about trying to categorize my bets. If I had to categorize that one, it's essentially a bluff, right? Semi-bluff. I'm guessing that he'll fold because he's pretty tight. Right now his play percentage is about 18%. Now he is. This is kind of an interesting spot. He's probably mad. I suspect he's thinking about betting here. He's mad. No. Okay, so we're gonna open. Whoa. Okay, something is definitely broken. Okay, so you're watching me. It's kind of weird to see it. You won't. So I have a separate program that is kind of redrawing the dollar amounts into big blinds, and it also has like a menu right here where my mouse is that you can't see on the stream that lets me select bets in terms of big blinds rather than dollars. And so it gives me percentages, and so just then I clicked like 30% and it jumped up to like 50 big blinds for some reason, and so gotta figure out what's going on. Good thing we did not do that. Alright, so 2.7 big blinds, and yeah, it is okay. So it is still broken. Probably just reset it right now while we're on the stream and see if it will figure things out for us. We don't get a great flop. We're also kind of distracted, so I'm actually considering just checking this one through. We could value bet. We don't know much about this guy. I'm gonna check. And we get another pretty crappy card. So he does bet since we checked through on the flop. It's definitely possible that he has a pair. 4 big blinds into 10 big blinds, so that's what I have to. I mean, he's basically kind of given us like a 30%. Yeah, so we're gonna pass. Yeah. All right. So we are. I think we actually fold this. Let me check. Yeah. Queen Jack offsuit from the low jack. We fold. But that's so usually I also get some like pot odds display here. Gotta figure out what's going on. I think things appear to be broked. We're gonna fold that. I'm just gonna turn these off, save changes, turn them on, save changes, and let's see if our pot odds show up again. Gotta figure out a better Spotify playlist here. Okay. So let's. Okay. Unfortunately, you know, I was about to say let's make something happen here, but Jack 8 offsuit, not quite good enough to make something happen. But we're gonna let it go. And I say not quite, but it's really just not good at all. Okay. So starting the stream in kind of a weird mood. We've been getting some good cards, but not a lot of action. We will open up Queen Jack. It looks like this thing is still miserably broken, so all my betting is now we gotta go into manual mode. Shouldn't be too bad, but we are also just missing the pot odds and the stacked pot ratio stuff, so we will need to figure that one out as well. And we get 3 bet, so then the question is, do we want to go 4 bet? We would be in position with Queen Jack suited. It says it's a call. Oof. And we get the flush draw. So I think we gotta make him pay for it here. 12 big blinds. And it's possible that we just have to fold this. No? Okay, so we do get the flush. We're just gonna keep betting here. So 50% is gonna be somewhere around 24 big blinds, which now it's not broken. And let's see if he continues. He doesn't. Okay, so we take down a nice pot without showdown, which is good. I mean, we just kind of kept betting for value there, and he eventually figured it out. So no regrets, I suppose. That was interesting. It was nice that we were the aggressor there, and we made our flush draw. So I suppose we could have been bluffing there. I wonder if he would have still folded if he'd... I mean, probably the fold comes down to whether or not he has it, right? So he just doesn't have it. But if we had... Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Like, if I didn't have it, do I still bluff it? I guess it depends what other equity I have in the hand. If I have complete air, it probably doesn't make sense to bluff there. But if I have some sort of equity like high pair, then maybe we continue through. Here we're facing a bet, and there's no reason to continue. Okay, so small blind, we have 9-5. Probably not great. Chart actually says don't even bet if no one comes to it. Don't even open it. So if we're not opening, we're definitely not going to call a 2-bet there. All right, so now ace-9 offsuit we will open. 2.7 big blinds, definitely still broken here, so we will do that. Important issue. Do that later. King 7's not quite good enough to open, so let's see. So the table's been moderately quiet. We have player 2 here who's been also probably would categorize him as a tight aggressive player, but he's been getting a fair amount of hands, I think. He shows his percentages 35% played and 26% raised before the flop. So that's pretty significant, I'd say. All right. So we get an interesting three-way hand here. There are 2 hearts on the board. It is ace high from the flop. Let's see what our in position player does. Or actually, so this he would be out of position. Let's see what the okay. So in position folds. Now it's down to 2. Check to our kind of tight aggressive player. I expect him to bet here. If he doesn't have an ace, if he has like king or queen, I guess. Oh, wow. I'm gonna have to review that. That was interesting. Okay, so 7 ace in the low jack. We're gonna let go. Let me take a look at that hand, because that was certainly a hand. So we have ace-8 offsuit in the big blind. Button opens. We will call. And we miss the flop. It is a... Sorry, I'm trying to show you guys the actual hand here. 2-3-3 is definitely a not great hand for us. I suppose we have... So if this guy's playing drunk guy range, which we kind of saw by him betting the... What was that, 2-6 suited? I'm not... Do we have equity here? We have an ace high. Doesn't feel like we have enough equity to call a 2/3 pot bet. But I think I'm okay with that. And definitely our... I'm just gonna switch our Spotify stream. Okay. So low jack opens. We are in the small blind. We're not gonna play with 9 ace offsuit. All right, and now the question is, do we play when under the gun opens and we have pocket 3s? The answer is no. So this is the... Oh wow, okay. Let's watch this hand. This might be interesting here with an ace queen on the board. We would have flopped the 3 of a kind, but we might have lost to a flush. Let's find out. So we would have had the three flush with the 3 of hearts, but I suspect... Okay, and he takes it. I suspect he's got one higher heart, which is why he bet it, and the other guy didn't have any hearts, so he let it go. So this hand was really weird. It looks like 2-6 was the one who bet. 2-6 opens for $1. He gets called, and it was just a complete and utter bluff. I mean, what do you have there with 2-6? You don't have any straight draws. Ace 2, I mean 3-4. Okay, so 3-4 is a straight draw. And then you got the 3. So if the 4 comes up, then he gets the straight. But he misses it. Problem is that there, you know, the point of bluffing is to get your opponent to fold. And what is your opponent folding there? Well, I should go read my notes here. Let's see. So reasons to bluff. Villain is folding at a decent frequency. All bluffs should be semi-bluffs. No such thing as a semi-bluff on the river. Any bluff has 0 showdown value. Okay, yeah, so that's what he did. He bluffed with 0 showdown value on the river. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes here. You know, so when we're betting for a bluff, we need to make sure that the villain folds more than our break-even percent given our bet size. And so he did bet pretty large. You know, it's also my notes mention, like, it's easier to value bet against fish and easier to bluff against tight players. In that case, where, you know, on these micro stakes, most people aren't going to be tight players, so bluffs aren't going to work as well. And so in this case, I think you just have to, I think you just check fold. I don't think you bluff this hand with 2-6. I don't know. That's just me. And we still continue to get 0 interesting hands, so we just keep on plodding along and watch the entertainment fold, maybe unfold. Hopefully somebody goes all in and makes for an interesting stream here. Our player 1 has been playing about 50% of the hands. So let's... but he has a 0% c-bet. Also 0% folding to c-bet. Okay, 3-9. So takes it down with a 9 high. These hands. I don't... Did I read that right? I mean, granted, we would have lost to pair of kings and then ace 9-8, and the other guy folded. The other guy mucks. Okay, I guess the pot's only 12 cents. So if one of them had bet at any point, the other one probably would have folded. But that also goes to show what these ranges are. I mean, if he is betting, if he's staying in the pot with 3-9, I guess I didn't catch if it was big blind versus small blind. That would make more sense. But still. 9-3 Mystery Science Poker 3000. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, looking at my drunk guy ranges, yeah, so like a 9-3 suited is about 65% of the range. Meaning, like, he's playing if you have a perfectly normal distribution of hands, he's playing 65% of the hands. The best 65% of the hands he's getting. Whereas a normal, like, opening range might be like 25% or something. Okay. So unfortunately, we still don't get anything we can play with profitably. I should say profitably because we're watching these people play, and they are they are playing with junk hands. Just not sure about how profitably. Okay, so our player one, who's kind of the wild guy at the table, does c-bet the flop. 5 comes, opening up some straights, so 6-8 gets there for the straight. And he takes a pretty big stab, 150% pot size bet, so definitely an oversized bet. Let's see, and he gets a fold. That's pretty good. He might be watching the stats. He might have a HUD because the villain, according to the HUD, is playing pretty tight. So, well done for him. Against a hijack open, the big blind is going to fold 9-8 offsuit. If it were 9-8 suited, we'd play it, but that's all right. And we're also going to fold 3-4 offsuit. 9-8 offsuit is a fold. I don't think we need to actually spend time looking up whether 3-4 offsuit is a fold. I think we can be pretty safe in that assumption. Let's take a look what happens here. So our wild guy on seat 1 opens and gets re-raised for half a big blind. Oh, but okay, he was probably, our player 3 was like posting dead money or something to play. Okay. So it acted as a call, and we go to the flop. It's ace high, 2-tone, so 2 spades, and lots of straight draws on the board now. So there's 3 connected cards. King Queen would be the nuts here, but Queen 8 would also take it. I mean, Queen 8's probably definitely in these guys' ranges at this point. But now a second ace comes. It was interesting because no one bet the flop. So it's actually a little less likely that somebody has an ace. Oh, but this guy is now signaling that he has the ace. Either that or he's just tilted. So let's see what player 3 does. This is his first hand at the table. Okay, he folds. Oh, sorry, not the first. We've seen his 4th hand on the table. That was interesting. So we do want to make sure, I mean, we should be aware that this guy can go all in. Does go all in. Alright. But yeah, we're not going to play 5-2. So we get to play the role of spectator again. And we would have flopped the straight with our 2-5. But now there are 3 spades on the board, so it's possible that somebody has 2 spades and would have beat us with our flop, or with our straight. And these guys are both, so it's big blind versus hijack. The big blind has a bigger range and should theoretically be favored here when the board has so many low cards. But he is not really betting. Instead, he's kind of letting the player 3 take the initiative, and it looks like player 3 is going to take it. So, interesting. I think that Player 1 seems to be, I guess, at least betting like having a decent polarized strategy in that he is, but, well, hold on. Okay, so let's see here. So in the cutoff, Queen 10 offsuit, that's our optional range. We're not playing optional at these lower stakes, so we'll let it go. Player 1 folds, so now it's between two sane players here. Let's see. So our player 2 has actually been pretty quiet. We've seen him so far. He's been here since we sat down, but he's been in about 37% of hands. Our notes say that he also has a pretty drunk range. Called 2-bet from blinds range with 6-2 suited. So we shouldn't really apply normal strategy with this guy. We just kind of assume he has, 65% range and go from there. Let's actually kind of punch in the board on Flopzilla. So it's showing that there's probably about 50% trash hands in his range, and a decent percentage of strong hands, somewhere around 16% good or strong hands. 10% are middle pairs. Now the 2 means that, oh, okay, so ace 2 takes it. These guys are playing any ace. Pretty much anything that they want to. Now, we are in the hijack. The under the gun opens. We have king 7. It is not good enough to 3-bet, so we'll let it go. We also don't know. Well, it looks like player 4 is the tightest person at the table so far. We've seen him play only one hand since he's sat down, so we expect him to not be lying here. He probably has a monster, and we'll see if somebody else realizes that or not. Maybe player 3, who's also hasn't been at the table very long, or been at the table a lot less than player 4, he calls. So we go to the flop. Jack King 10, definitely good for the under the gun range, pretty bad for the big blind range, which is, so player 3 is the big blind against player 4 is under the gun. The big blind is out of position, so he is first to act, and he was also, so he donk bets. Now, normally this would not be a flop where the big blind should be donk betting, and so the under the gun answers with a re-raise and takes it down. That was actually, textbook example of how to deal with a out of place donk bet there. I don't think, based on that, we should note that player 3 probably doesn't know what he's doing. Donk bet King XX. And we should note that this guy probably knows what he's doing. Decently tight. Smart bet. Oh, well, I said smart bet, but then he just went all in pre-flop. So let's see what's going on here. Maybe I need to take away my note. Maybe he's not a smart better. But he takes down the pot. Okay. We definitely got to, I think, be wary of player 4. He is potentially the shark here. Thankfully, he's to our right, so most of the time we will get to just respond to him rather than have to lead into him. That gives us a pretty big advantage over him, honestly. So in this case, I almost am expecting him to raise here, but he doesn't. I don't think limping here makes a lot of sense. These two, actually, yeah, this is within our limping range, so we're gonna limp. And We have a gut shot straight draw. I'm not gonna donk bet here. And we get a pretty big bet, 2/3 pot size bet. So, now this is where I wish I had practiced my pot odds, but I think we're getting, for a gut shot straight, an inside straight, we have about 16% chance to get it. And based on the pot odds, I don't think we continue. I am a little frustrated that the pot odds display is broken here. So I think we'll just have to get out a calculator next time and try to do these pot odds ourselves next time. We were kind of relying on the HUD to show us our pot odds, and obviously that's not working here. So what are our pot odds here? In this case, so the total pot is 237, and the bet to us is 71 cents. So it's just risk over risk plus reward, so 0.71 divided by 237 plus 71 cents is about 23%. And our odds, we needed a bit lower. We needed somewhere around, we wanted somewhere like 16% to call. So I suppose we made the right call there, but it was a little painful. I should keep the calculator up in case we need to do some pot odds again here. All right, so I'm going to close this, go back to our hand. We folded a 4-2 offsuit. And I'm going to try just doing something real quick. See if that fixes anything. Our layout's still not showing the pot odds. I wonder if it has to do with the poker tracker, the fact that the poker tracker is also doing an overlay on top of the the table. The two overlays might be getting confused or something. So we are now at here. All right. So Jack 4, from the button, no. That's in our optional range. We're trying to stick to the conservative range, try and have some advantage when we actually do go to the flop. We've just been kind of bleeding chips over a bit of time, which is a little bit of a bummer here. We were up about 120 big blinds after our big pot, so we need to maybe try and take down some hands here when we can, maybe even bluff. But looking at our cards just over the last, I mean, I'm looking at the poker tracker history, we've really just, we only lost one significant hand. That was the 4 big blinds. Other than that, we've just been getting a lot of trash hands. We've just been kind of card dead. I guess since we started, we had that Queen Jack suited. That was the last big hand. All right, so player 6 goes all in. And we don't get to see what he has, unfortunately. Bummer. The all-in is a strategy to get people to fold. I think I have kind of given up on that strategy. Mainly just because there's so much variance with it, so much like ridiculous things that can happen. When I first started playing, I picked that habit up, and it was a bad habit. Just like that's partly why I lost my original buy-in to Ignition Poker. Is I just had some really bad habits, and going all in just for fun was definitely one of them. Or what I would do is I would go all in because either like I was frustrated or impatient, I think would be the biggest reason I was going all in. Or because I suspected that the other guy was bluffing. And so really, obviously like bluff betting like that has some place, but it's not, shouldn't be like a main piece in your arsenal, especially against, I think the other thing is like, especially against these guys who just bet when they have it and don't bet when they don't. And a lot of times I would go all in as like a re-raise or like in response, you know, even after I'd seen him bet on previous streets. So yeah. Yeah, so I think, and I mean, it looks like player 6 is kind of guilty of that. He's just kind of going all in when he gets impatient. Let's see if he does it again in this. Well, no, this spot's only 3 big blinds, so we shouldn't see him go all in. We should, at least not right now. Who knows? Also, player 3 is just going extremely slow. This pair of 6s is going to take it down. Wow. And player 6 doesn't even have enough to beat a pair of 6s. Ouch. Yeah, so it's just rough. Like, these guys are just, I mean, they're not playing with much at all, that's for sure. Ace 6 offsuit, we let go. I do have a limping range. It is kind of tight. Excuse me. But it is there, and it has been kind of helpful. I have actually won a couple hands based off of it. That's good. We just didn't really get a chance to use it much today. Alright, so 10-6, not good enough. The other thing I do is like you know, the nice thing is my HUD will show me my stats for this session. And so right now it's showing that we've basically played, we've only pre-flop raised about 12% of our hands that we've gotten so far. But the thing we know empirically, like we can look at our range and see like, okay, our range is actually like our opening range is a bigger percentage than that. Like at the most conservative, it's 20%. At the least conservative, it's like 50%. So the fact that our average is 12% just goes to show that we're getting really bad cards this time. So it's a little frustrating, but not much we can do. And we do get to watch some interesting action. So player 1 goes all in. We haven't really heard much from him lately. He has been playing about 45% of the pots, but I guess he hasn't been going all in very often. So let's see if player 3 responds. Player 3 has been literally in every single hand, and we get an all in, and neither of them have a pair. So ace high on the pair of 3s will take the all in. Yeah, I mean, so this just goes to show you how much these guys play their hands and not the board. Both of those guys had decent hands, Jack, Ace, and King, Queen. But they just didn't give a crap about what was on the board because the board didn't hit either of them. One guy had King High and one guy had Ace High, and they went all in. And there's no reason to really do that at the on a cash game. Like if you're in a tournament, there's a place for going all in like aggressively before the flop. You know, when the SPR is low. Yeah, when the stacks are really low, when it's really late in the game, there's going to be spots where if you fold a decent hand, you might lose the tournament. So you have to play a decent hand even if it doesn't hit the board. And that's just kind of because of like the time constraints and the structure of the tournament. But none of that is present here. So these guys are just, but I think what happens is yeah, they just get like impatient and they just pull the trigger because they want to see something happen. I don't know. So I think the best way to the way to exploit that is to stay conservative until they give you the opening. And then when you have the nuts, you go for it and take their money. Or let them believe that you don't have anything. I guess just wait for them to raise you all in rather than vice versa. Like you don't want to raise them all in because they might have it. But yeah, I mean, take all that advice with a grain of salt because I'm still at very low stakes, and as you can see, my winning graph over here is still not that great for today. Okay, so in this case we lose it to Ace Queen. So probably good there that we didn't push it too hard. I mean, that was another example where there was an ace on the board. I'm like trying to sneeze and I can't, sorry. There was an ace on the board. That guy should have been betting. I checked through the whole hand. I was big blinds and I made it to showdown without putting a single dollar or a cent in the pot. So that shouldn't happen either. Just weird. But maybe what I should be doing is trying to bet my ranges a bit more. I mean, when I do find myself in the flop as a big blind. I think that could help our kind of the issue here right now is just we're just kind of bleeding chips as we are kind of unable to take down any pots. And part of the reason is we just aren't bluffing our bad hands right now. I just talked about bluffing bad hands, but I really don't want to try to bluff an 8-5 offsuit. Sorry. But normally, I mean, yeah, so like back to our notes. You know, why do we bet as a bluff? Well, when our opponent is going to fold more often than not, or more often than would be profitable. And so now those percentages I actually have in my Excel sheet here. So like if we bet something like 100% pot size, then we only need to win, or we need basically our opponent needs to fold something like 50% of the time for us to profit, or I should say break even. Anyways, let's see here. So we have ace-5. We're in the big blind. I think we're just gonna, we'll check here. And definitely a flop misses us. I'm gonna check and see what he does. This guy looks like he's new. I don't have any stats on him. So he bets 1.5, so he bets half pot. I don't think he has a queen, but we have very little equity here. We are just drawing to 3 outs. So I think we will let that go. Yeah, I think we've just essentially been card dead on this table for the last half hour or so. It's just too bad. Alright, so we find ourselves on the button. We have an 8-2 suited. And there is one limper. I'm just gonna try to take a stab at it. Let's see what happens. I feel like I need to take down something. That's probably very bad reasoning, but let's see what happens. Okay, so we get called, but the board is so bad that it's good again. It goes past bad and back to good and gives us 2 pair. So that is nice. We will, I guess, just continue here. We'll do a 50% pot bet and see what he does. And he lets us take it. So, and we would have had the full house. So there you go. That was ridiculous. That should not have happened. Normal statistics would say that is an outlier. It's too bad that we didn't get more money out of him. Maybe I should have bet smaller. I went 50%. Maybe that was just too big. Or maybe he was just kind of too conservative there. That was interesting. I mean, I suspect if there was any face card on the board, he's probably opening or... So if the board was like 8-2 king or 8-2 ace, we probably would have been in the money there, but it was not. And now he's kind of ticked, so he takes down a pot. Well done, good sir. Basically, yeah, I'll have to go review that. I didn't catch all that. Okay, so player one's tight new guy hasn't been we've only seen a little bit from him. Player 2 has been here a while, and he's still steaming from when we beat him. And so he is betting this pot. Now he checks. So he goes bet check, which is not a very good line usually. And the board pairs twice. So any 8 or any queen gets the full house. But based on the fact that he checked the turn, I suspect he does not have anything and he's going to fold here. Let's see what happens. It's about a 50% pot bet, which was about the same size as he folded to me. And does he decide to fold, or is he so angry? Oh yeah. And player 2 loses again. Probably is not feeling too great right now, but he loses to the house. So player 1 pulled through with the 8 there. That was pretty impressive. I'm glad we got to see what he had. That was fun. Now we just need to take down a couple more small pots and try and get our win back up to where we were. Get that graph up and to the right. Not down until, not down right. We want upright. Unfortunately, 6-9 does not seem quite good enough, especially against this guy who looks pretty tight. We will let it go. And 10-4 is also not going to be quite good enough. We'll let that go as well. And I've been streaming for about 55 minutes, so probably need to start worrying about dinner soon. Maybe another 20 minutes or so. Alright. So an 8-9 offsuit is playable. In fact, we're gonna raise it and see what happens. We get a call. Are we gonna get 2 calls? Probably not. Now, player 6 is very unknown. This is his first hand that we've logged from, or second hand that we've logged from him. But a 1 big blind bet is essentially just like a check, and we do have some equity here. A 7 gives us a straight, so we'll keep going. We do whiff that, although now a jack also gives us a straight, so now we have basically 8 outs. So I think we're gonna bet it. Trying to make it a little expensive for him to stay and see what he does. Possible that he has a 6 here and he has us beat. So if he re-raises, I think we fold here. No, but he calls. And we do miss the straight, so we have nothing. We have no showdown value. So essentially we have to bluff here if we want the pot. And I don't think he's gonna fold, so I think we'll check. Yeah, 2 pair. So he also had the straight draw, which is interesting. We could have potentially split up that pot. We are gonna open here to a normal 2.8 big blinds. And we take it down. Nice. We're gonna make back some of our money that we just lost on that big hand. So also, like, I mean, it just kind of goes to show you, like, losing that 8-9 offsuit hand. You know, part of the reason that beginning ranges are so tight is that it is hard for beginners to play tough spots like that. I feel like I have the language to kind of describe the spot I'm in, but not quite yet the decision-making ability. I guess, you know, or maybe I'm just, I don't know, maybe I'm just tilted from losing that pot, but I think, you know, there we couldn't have bet for value because we're not beating more than, you know, we're not beating pretty much anything. So all that's left is betting as a bluff. And betting for a bluff is only, you know, profitable when the villain is going to fold a certain percentage of the time. And then the question becomes like, is that percentage, like what is their actual fold percentage versus the fold percentage you need to make the bet profitable? And I think, and so theoretically, like in that case, like I could have bet really huge, like 200% pot bet or something to try, and then that way, like he theoretically only needs to fold like 2/3 of the time, or he needs to fold 2/3 of the time. Is that right? I need to. Or basically, yeah, he needs to fold 1/3 of the time. I need to win 2/3 of the time. I don't think I'm explaining it very well. Maybe that's because I'm tired. Yeah, so I think the moral of the story is that we are. I mean, I think the way this session has ended is that let's limp here and see what happens. Okay, we get through, but we miss the flop. Pair nines. Let's just check and see what he does. I feel like there's not enough money in the pot for it to be a profitable bluff. We are gonna bet this one though, so we'll bet like 1.4 big blinds, and we just take it. That's fine. So anyways, I think that river fold was good, and we did get we proved that it was good because we saw his cards, right? He had pair nines. I don't think he's folding a pair nines 2/3 of the time to like a 200% pot bet. So I don't, when we bluff, we have to, like, a bluff is only going to be profitable if they're folding. And in that case, I don't think a pair nines is going to fold enough on the river for us to try and bluff. All that being said, it's still annoying. Now here, yeah, we're going to fold. Our player 4 is super tight, has only... he's been here almost the entire time. We've seen 40 hands from him, and he's only raised the flop 3 times before that, so we steer clear. We do open this. And we'll see if we can make some profit on our way out as we wind down the session. Now we are out of position, which is not good, and it's going to be a pretty big multi-way pot, which is also a little scary. So we get 3 callers, and we get a backdoor flush draw. We would need 2 clubs, and we also get the gut shot straight draw. We need the 10. So I think we call here. And we get a 3. So we still have a straight draw, but our flush draw is gone. We also have like any king or ace helps us out. And so I think we call here as well. Gosh. Doesn't feel great. No, that was bad. I think this is definitely a value bet, so I think we have to get out of the way. It just sucks that we missed all of our draws here. We needed a 10, a king, or an ace, so that would have been something like 6 plus 4 is 10 outs, and we missed them all on both the turn and the river, so I think we got to fold. That was a little painful. I think that he had it there though. I'm not gonna cry over it too much. Yeah, that was a little rough. So that means we will end the session a little bit negative, but not by a whole lot. I think I'll probably call it at, let's say 10 to 5, so about 15 minutes. So let me just put the countdown timer on for 15 minutes. Okay. And we get King 3 suited in the small blind. It is in our opening range. It's not in any of our... It is a... Yeah, it's not in any other ranges, so we fold to a bet. Ooh. And the big blind re-raises. Let's see what happens here. He has not 3-bet this entire game. And it was a 4-bet and a call, but all very small percentages. So this pot is still pretty small considering it's a 4-bet pot. But the SPR is also very low because player 6 has a very small stack here. So I expect player 4 to, yeah, just push them all in. And aces versus ace 8-9, and the 8-9 wins it. Wow. That was a gamble too. He had a flush draw and a straight draw, but he did not have it when he went all in. So well done to him. He hits his river, and we do not hit our river. We will play the ace-5 offsuit from the button. And it looks like we just take it without contest. And get dealt the 3-jack, which will fold. And now he smartly left after he won his big pot against the guy with us, with the 5 hearts to win it. That was pretty good. So player 2, we have about 70 hands on now. And he's been playing about a third of the hands that he's been involved in. Ace 3 is not good enough to call a 3-bet on. We'll let it go. And player 2 is gonna call. So let's see, he's out of position. So this should normally not be like, well, so he was small blind and against an under the gun raise. So the small blind's range should not be very good, but apparently he bets and takes the pot. And I guess that's because player 4 just didn't have top pair. That was interesting. I mean, that's good to know. We should say, like, we'll fold to, folds to bluffs. So we're gonna remember that. Yeah, so I think looking at player 4's numbers, he is very, like, a tight, aggressive player. So I think the thing to remember about that is that, you know, it's easier to bluff a tight, aggressive player. We use value bets against loose cannons, and we use bluffs against tight, passive players. And so now the trick is, like, just trying to find those guys and being able to kind of assess who's who and execute our strategy against them appropriately. Unfortunately, that requires cards, and we just have not had the cards today. Alright, so we get Jack 4 on the small blind. We can play it. It is in our optional range to open, but we could open it. I'm guessing it is nowhere in any of our 3-bet, or responding to facing RFI ranges, so we just let it go here when under, let's see, player 2, the hijack opens for 3 big blinds. Now we actually are starting to get a decent sample on him, which is nice. So we see that he is 33 and 19 are his 2 numbers. So 33 being the percentage of hands he's put money into the pot with, and 19 being the percentage of hands he has raised pre-flop. So he does get a call here. Our Jack 4 would have been no good, but this does favor the big blind, so I expect that... Now this would be a hand for the big blind to donk bet. Let's see if he actually does or not, if he understands ranges. This is one where you bet regardless of kind of what you have, but to try and just bet your range rather than bet your hand. But instead they check through. Let's see what happens. And then another check. Okay, so finally player 2 does bet. And he takes it down. Interesting. Master of the sun, memories falling on concrete. You know, I was also thinking that based on the ridiculous action that I was getting like later at night, I'm almost considering maybe doing like something special, like a Friday night or a Saturday night stream when there's more crazy players out and less pros, and just have a fun stream. Maybe even just plan on like I don't know, having like a bigger budget for it or something. We'll see. All right, so King 10 in the hijack. Let's open it and see what happens here. We've been getting enough folds that I'm starting to now use our kind of optional opening range. Seems like kind of not a lot of people believe us when we are betting. Now this does favor him more than us, so we're gonna check through. And I think we shut down here. I don't know. So he's big blind, so it's very possible that I think he has this, or the flop favors his range. And we don't really have a lot of equity. We don't really have any straight or flush draws, so yeah, I think we have to let that go. I'll let that go as well. I'm gonna open that one up on the poker tracker and see. I'm just gonna punch in these ranges and see if that was a good fold or not. So we had King Club, 10 Heart, board was 4 Diamond, 9 Spade, 7 Club, 7 Diamond. Yeah, so we had 34% equity, and we were facing a 29% pot odds. So we could have theoretically called, but it just seems like we're not going to really realize it's going to be hard to realize that pot equity. We basically kind of have like 8 outs there, or 6 outs to one of our top, basically a pair. And if we assume that he has something like even just a weak pair, in that bet, then our equity goes down to 20% and we should have accurately folded. So yeah, I think we did. That was a good fold, even though it was painful. I think we've just been missing a lot of flops, getting a lot of bad cards. So yeah, I mean, we played only 18% the last 77 hands. So considering that some of our ranges are much, much wider than that, it just kind of goes to show that we haven't been getting a lot of great cards. Oops. Alright. So 4-6, the big blind, we get an open from the cutoff. 6-4 suited is a call. Alright, let's call. Interesting. So we get an open-ended straight draw and a flush draw. I'm actually gonna donk bet this here and see what he does. Oh, it's three-way. Oops. I probably shouldn't have done that. Oh well. Maybe these guys still fold. It's definitely possible. I was looking at the bottom left of the table and then did not realize that player 6 was in here, so I think that means I'm getting tired and I will click sit out next hand. Though we do get the straight. So I'm just going to do the same bet again, a 50% pot size bet, and see if these guys call again. I think our hand is pretty well hidden here. So we might actually get a little bit of profit out of this, unless somebody has a higher straight. There's no pairs on the board. Oh, just as I say that. So it is possible somebody has the full house, but here I think we do the same thing. We do a 50% pot size bet with the straight and pray that he calls. Pot's up to 63 big blinds, so oh, now 80. Okay, and we take it. And we are going to end the stream on that high note. That is an awesome high note to end on. We get 25 big blinds and end 25 big blinds positive. I think that hand we let's see here. We won 42 big blinds out of that hand. We won 42 big blinds. So made up for all the crappy run of the entire stream with one hand, and we'll let it go now. And it's still, I think I would like to eventually be able to, I guess, make more profit. I feel bad that some of these, like, I feel bad that the graph is down and to the right and then sharp spike up, and then down and to the right and then sharp spike up. You know, that is rather what we want. Is we want like slow, steady and to the right. Slow, steady up, which means that we're like able to kind of fight these like smaller pots and protect our big blinds, like try to steal on the big blinds and do kind of more advanced stuff like that. So instead, right now, we're just kind of stuck with this strategy of kind of winning with monster pots like that, which is just means there's more variance, means there's like, it's, I don't know, feels a little amateurish, I guess, but also I think that's what we kind of have, you know, it doesn't feel great, but at the same time, I'm still trying to figure out if it's the right strategy for these stakes. It could be that this is just the main way to make money at these stakes, because you're going to get guys who are just so wild, you don't know if they're limping in with aces, you know, pocket aces, or, you know, 7-2 offsuit. So, anyways, thank you for watching the stream, everybody. I appreciate it. I think I'm gonna sign off here, and you know, I think we'll pass on the analysis for today, but maybe next time we'll do that. And yeah, thank you for watching.